we are looking for rheumatic heart disease. It is a kind of acute rheumatic fever, and it is responsible organism is group A beta hemolytic streptococci, especially occurring in the school age group. We have seen the anatomical part where all the walls are situated, layers, and its four chambers. Let's look for the definition. Rheumatic heart disease is most serious complication of rheumatic fever. And rheumatic fever is responsible because of what? It is because of some kind of inflammatory disease which is responsible, like pharyngitis is happening, sore throat is there, and especially occurring in the school age group. If they get sore throat or infection through the oral cavity or the nasopharynx cavity, it will invade. So this fever is diffuse inflammatory disease characterized by delayed response on the infection by group A beta hemolytic streptococci. It is also termed as GAS or gas in the tonsillopharyngeal area. So if that is remaining untreated, in that case, the patient may suffer with the rheumatic heart disease. Incidence especially occurring 100 per 1 lakh people in the developing countries are affected, and it affects the male and females equally. So no gender differentiation, both of them are getting simultaneously affected. Reason we know, etiological, that infection by group A beta hemolytic streptococci. Risk factors, if in case host predisposition, means the person who has been in the risk factor or vulnerable to get this kind of infection, they are malnourished or something. And in case they are having the family in history of this, poor hygiene, not able to manage the hygiene properly, in case they are staying in the crowded area. I gave you an example. If the patients are in the crowded area, one patient is affected, they will have the transmission. Poverty, in cases of poor, they cannot manage the hygiene, they cannot have the proper spacious area to live. And the special age group which has been affected is 6 to 15 years of age group. Let's look towards the pathophysiology. We know that the walls are getting affected here due to that infection which is being transferred from the pharyngeal area, tonsillopharyngeal, towards the system. Lymphatic system is getting affected, and then towards the system it carries towards the cardiac muscles. So let's see the predisposing factor, which is taking the invasion of streptococcus from the normal flora. So from our mouth, oral cavity, pharyngeal layer, it is getting invaded. So if once getting pharyngitis, if the patient is left untreated, then this whole process has to be seen. If the treatment is initiated, it can be healed. So let's say if it is being left untreated, in that case, what will happen? Macrophages present the bacterial antigen are this is to the lymphocytes. So let's see that we know that lymphocytes have the lymphatic system produces this T cells. T cells is what? Thymus cells. And B cells are what? Bone marrow or the bursa derived cells. So these are being produced from the bone marrow, and these T cells are produced from the thymus cells, and they are major cellular components which is adaptive to the immune response. So these are helping for the immune response. So T cells are involved in cell mediated immunity, and B cells are primarily responsible for relating to the antibodies. Okay, let's see. If the activation of B cells is occurring, then this whole process has to be seen. Let's see for the T cell activation. So in case of activation of T cells, what is that? T killer and T helper cell. As the name is suggesting, T helper cell. So this is the cell which is helping the other cell to boost up the immunity to fight the viral infection. The T helper cell is the particular cell which is helping another cell to boost up the immunity. The T killer cells is again what it is. It is attacking a particular cell. So it is a cytotoxic T cell, or it is also said as cytotoxic T lymphocyte cells, which is a killer cell. Why it is called as a killer cell? It is recognizing some kind of antigen which is on the surface of infected cells with the virus. Okay, so it will just attack, it will just focus on the particular cell which is getting infected with the virus, and it will not allow the T cells to bind up with that infected cell. So this is why it is called as T killer cell. It will boost up the immunity, T helper will boost up the immunity, but T killer will focus on a particular cell which has been binded with the antigen, and it will not allow the T cell to bind, and it will kill those cells. Okay, let's go for the B cells. What was B cells doing? B cells was producing the antibody production. So this will lead to what? Cross reactions with the cardiac myofiber, myosins, and the smooth muscles of the arteries. So it will help, the antibodies will help to fight the reaction there. So this will again not allow the like immune system. So B cells produce and secrete the antibodies which will activate our immune system, and that will destroy the pathogen to reach over the cardiac muscle fibers, and that will release what we can know that cytokine is released, and that will help for the antibody as an antibody, and it will recognize the viral antigens, and it will kill the infected cells. In case of inflammatory process, away from the primary site to the streptococcus infection, who are the parts which are getting affected? Joint, heart, smooth muscles of the arteries will get affected. If heart has got affected, means walls of the leaflet has got hardened and shortened. So you have seen in the picture that these are the leaflets. These are the petals. Like, and in the flower, there are different petals will make a flower. So these are the leaflets which has been affected. So walls are getting dysfunction because of that. As the vegetation of these infection has been occurred, and these petals are being affected. So valvular dysfunction, poor cardiac functions will be seen. In case walls become narrowed and stenosis, so due to that vegetation, the space has already decreased, and it has led to infectious condition, and it has stenosed, it has constricted, and that will develop a high pressure must be generated to propel the blood through the narrow walls. So definitely what will happen, the space is so narrow, so if the blood has to pass, it will exert a pressure over that area, it has to push out. So if you are standing in a line, you are not getting space, you will, what you will do in a crowd, you will just push, and then you will make your space to get so same thing is doing like blood is doing, and it will try to pass by pushing the narrow walls. In case the wall leaflet becomes shorter, then what will happen? If this part has become shorter, so what will happen? That will not close. Once the blood has come from atrium to ventricles, or it has gone from ventricles to the blood vessels or the veins, so in that case, what will happen? If it will not close properly, because already the petals have closed, like has to be closed, but it has already become shorter, so it will not close properly, and that lead to blockage or backflow of blood, and that will increase what? As the blood supply, pre-filling, afterload, all these will increase. So cardiac workload will increase, because it will try to supply a proper amount of blood which is being required. So in that case, at till a time it will struggle, and then lastly heart failure may occur, and this is leading to wall leaflet harden and shorten, and then it is leading to rough eroded areas of walls attract the platelets. So once this is rough eroded areas will attract the platelets, so more closure of the wall will happen, and more thickening of the walls, and that will lead to formation of platelets will form the fibrin clumps, and the vegetation will occur, and it is leading to vulnerable to the endocarditis. So last, how the endocarditis is occurring. Now let's see what is the clinical manifestations for this. So wall deformities we already see. Thromboembolism, because of platelet also depositing, thromboembolism may circulate. It will lead to cardiac hemolytic anemia. So this hemolytic anemia will again be because the blood is not being supplied in a proper amount. Atrial arrhythmias can be seen. Definitely atria will struggle to get the blood from the system. It will pulsate fast. Okay, inflammation of the cardiac. So carditis will be there. arthritis, joint inflammation, chorea will be there. What is chorea? Chorea is a movement disorder which is causing involuntary, irregular and unpredictable movement of muscles. So this disorder will be seen in case of problems occur. So there will be a movement problem and we can see the patient is having an involuntary movement without his wish. Erythema marginatum. Okay, you can see here. You can see the red spots over the skin. This is the erythema marginatum. It is a rare skin rash that spread on the trunk and limb. Means the chest cavity area, whole of the thoracic area. You'll see the red rashes that will spread, and it will be with a pale pink center. You can see this pale and pink center, which will be slightly raised red outline. You can see that raised red outline is there, and it can appear in a ring or half or less regular. It can be complete or it can be half. So this is what the erythema marginatum. Then lastly, subcutaneous nodule. You can see that erythema marginatum, and here it is nodules. You can see this lump formations. Here also lump formations is there. So this is leading to the kind of clinical manifestation which are more of dangerous. Now minor manifestations, definition, infection is there, so temperature will be raised, fever will be above 100.4 degree Fahrenheit or more, weakness will be seen, malaise, tiredness, weight loss and anorexia, pain can be seen. Now major thing occurs is a major manifestation is seen is Jones criteria for diagnosis. It is a particular part how we are trying to find out that rheumatic heart disease is there. So there is a form diagnosis. It is named as Jones criteria to diagnosis for rheumatic heart disease. A form diagnosis required that two major and one minor, two major and one major or two minor are satisfied. In addition to the evidence, so if the Jones criteria we will see, we can see major criteria. So in major criteria, what will occur? Carditis. I said many systems are getting affected. Joint system is affected, heart is affected, even due to that some kind of muscular deformity is there, erythema marginatum is there, okay, skin is getting affected and the nodules, lymphatic system is getting affected. So major criteria, you have to remember these major symptoms which has been seen. So it is named as major criteria to diagnose about particularly rheumatic heart disease. So carditis, polyarthritis, chorea, movement disorder, I said, erythema marginatum, seen in the previous slide, subcutaneous nodules can be seen. Okay. So this was about the major criteria. Yes, in minor criteria, we can see smaller kind of symptoms, that is fever, arthralgia, then movement disorders are also there and joint deformities are also there. Previous rheumatic fever or rheumatic heart disease might be found. Acute phase reactants, okay, definitely infection is there, T lymphocytes, B lymphocytes, they are taking place, and then leukocytosis can be seen, WBC can be elevated, ESR will be affected because it will be elevated as infection has invaded. C-reactive protein is again which is being released by the liver and it will raise the infection like in the system as infection has raised. And definitely what will be prolonged, PR interval will be prolonged on the echocardiogram as atrium is also struggling, ventricles are also struggling, walls are taking the backflow of blood. So PR interval will be quite affected. So this distance between the atrium and the ventricular contraction pause will be might be prolongated. Evidence of preceding streptococcal infection. So any of the following can be considered as an adequate. So increased anti-streptolysin O or other streptococcal antibodies or positive throat culture. These are the diagnostically we can take the throat culture and we are finding group A beta hemolytic streptococci. Otherwise, anti-streptolysin O or other streptococcal antibodies is found increase in the blood. And we can even find for the like recent scarlet fever might be there. Another diagnosis like positive throat culture, we discussed. Anti-streptococcal antibodies found. Heart-reactive antibodies, that is specially tropomycin. Mycin is elevated in acute rheumatic fever. Another antibody which is raised in the blood whenever we are taking the blood culture. So next is Doppler echocardiogram. We can see in acute rheumatic heart fever, Doppler echocardiography identifies that quantitates the valve insufficiency and ventricular dysfunction can be seen. Definitely WBC, white blood cells will be elevated, ESR and C-reactive protein levels will be elevated, and continuation ECG will see the PR interval will be prolonged. In like X-ray also we can find out the damage in the cardiac system. What will be the management in this? What we have to eradicate? The infection that has invaded, that is group A beta hemolytic streptococci. How we can prevent that? Sore throat might have occurred, so initiative treatment has to be given. Prevention of permanent cardiac damage has to be done, if it has been walls are getting affected, might be wall replacement surgery or wall repair surgery, or in antibiotic treatment has to be started, like any kind of treatment to prevent the permanent damage. Palliation of the other symptoms, we have to relieve the other symptoms like joint and subcutaneous nodules. All these things with the chorea and all has to be relieved. Prevention of this reoccurrence, as we seen that previous history is also there, so just see that another time it doesn't reoccur. Penicillin is a broad spectrum antibiotic we are giving, that is a remaining drug choice. So whenever we are just seeing that rheumatic heart disease, penicillin is a drug of choice with the macrolides or cephalosporins, it is the inclusion. Then initial therapy includes full course of penicillin. It is 250 mg 2 to 3 times daily for at least 10 days, or alternative antibody. So antibiotics as the resistance do not occur. Children who have acute rheumatic fever are susceptible for reoccurrence and rest of their life. So proper prophylactic treatment has to be started immediately once the completion of initial antibiotic. Even though we have completed the treatment, we have to continue with the prophylactic treatment. Secondary prevention, which is what? Again, monthly IM injection for benzathine penicillin has to be given. 2 daily oral doses of penicillin can be given, and 1 dose of sulfadiazine sulfadoxazole has to be given, and it is also replaced with erythromycin, that is 250 mg BD, means twice a day. And duration of prophylactic treatment varies, means like if you are giving the prophylactic treatment after the antibiotic treatment has been over, that can be depend on the critical condition of or the cardiac involvement with the infection. Then salicylates are used to control the inflammatory process, especially in the joints, to reduce the fever and discomfort. So if the patient Jones criteria, according to Jones criteria, joints are affected, so salicylates can be given to reduce the inflammation in the joints. Then prednisolone is indicated in certain patients with the heart failure. And if the patient is having the congestive heart failure, valvular heart disease, and they might have certain kind of system error, they will require an emergency medical therapy, and they are also risk for atrial fibrillation and embolic complications might be there. Surgery may be indicated, as I said, valve repair or valve replacement therapy may be given. After surgical implantation, you have to give quite a good care to such patients. So valve insufficiency may not be continued and it can be prevented, and certain patients subsequent development of mitral stenosis might be there, so we have to prevent that.